Hi, this is Jose Diego Monroy, broadcasting for JDN Academy. Today we're broadcasting from downtown Houston, in which we have a project under construction. It's almost completed. And today I had the honor and pleasure to be talking to Jude. He works for DPR. It's a construction company. Thank you very much for being here today with us today, Jude.
It's my pleasure, Diego. So to introduce myself, like Diego already said, my name is Jude Bontemps. I'm a field engineer here at DPR. I started my life in Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana to be specific. Grew up, born in Louisiana. Then I ended up my way at LSU, Louisiana State University, where I studied construction management. I spent 4 years at LSU. I actually had 2 internships while I was at LSU with Baker Concrete in Tampa, Florida for my first year, and then my second year was in Cape Canaveral, Florida, working at the Kennedy Space Center. And then actually my senior year I got with DPR, got a full-time offer, made my way to Houston, Texas because it was close enough to home, and now I'm here full-time as a field engineer here at DPR Construction.
So tell me about your experience at LSU, Louisiana State University. Obviously, you said that you studied construction management. What type of classes you took? What was your favorite one? What was your experience where you were at LSU?
Well, my experience, like as any engineering degree, it's not the easiest, but of course you start off with your preliminary classes, your weed out classes, you have your calculus, you have your physics. Then you actually go into your classes that actually complement your major, that you're actually learning stuff in the industry. So I'll probably have to go with my favorite class. I would say the structures class, actually knowing how to do the calculation on how everything goes up. That probably was my favorite class. And probably second was estimating. Just knowing how to calculate everything and being able to do a good estimate. That's what I enjoyed most at LSU.
Great, thank you, Jude. Now tell us about your work experience. What has been the project that you work on? Perhaps tell us about this project, the name of this project, the location. Obviously, it's important to know the location and your work experience.
So like I previously said, I had 2 previous internships while I was at LSU. So my first project as an intern, I was actually working in Tampa, Florida, like I said before, working on a 4 separate 5-story garage unit in Tampa, Florida airport. So that was a pretty big project, over $60 million worth of concrete. So I was working at there, helping out the field engineer actually for Baker Concrete, helping out with layout, doing some labor work, just getting my hands dirty. So that was a good experience. Second internship, same thing. I was in Cape Canaveral. I was actually working on the Space Center in Cape Canaveral, actually Unit 34, where the spaceship blew up. So we were going back in there for Baker Concrete, saw cutting, chipping out a lot of concrete, and going back in there and replacing all the concrete that was damaged from that blow up ship shuttle. And just helping out with layout, same thing, helping out the field engineer with layout, doing, small quantity takeoffs and stuff like that. So, and now I made my transition as a field engineer here at the Recenter project. So just to give a little background on the Recenter project, we have the old Recenter project here, which is mostly a recovery center for people that's trying to get back on their feet, people who've had hard times and just trying to change their lives and turn around their lives. So now we're doing this wonderful renovation here of the Recenter project, which is actually the first digital panel construction here in Houston for DPR. So DBC, that's what we called it, digital building components. So pretty much as you see here, you really won't see it now that we have the exterior up, but for the most part everything was prefabricated from levels 3 to 5. All the metal panels, all the walls, everything was prefabricated. So they pretty much came in huge truckloads, and all we did was pretty much anchor them into the concrete and stack them on each other. So that'll be its first kind in Houston, Texas, at least for DPR construction in the nation, especially with laying on the floor panels. So all the floors pretty much just stack on top of each other and transfer the weight down onto the steel concrete podium, which is levels 1 and 2.
Now, working on this project and any other project, How big is the construction team? Tell us about on the business time. How many workers do you have at one point on this site, and also on the construction project management? How many people are normally involved in one of these projects?
Okay, so I would say the max amount of people we had on this site was about, I would say 63 was probably the most we had on this site. It's not the biggest project in the world, but it's a decent sized project to where we had 60 people. Mostly our drywall guys, our framing guys. That consisted of the most trades for the most part. We actually had up to 27 drywall guys at one time. But as far as the project managing staff and the DPR staff itself, I would say we have anywhere from 5 to 8 people on this project, including 2 project managers, 2 superintendents, 2 project engineers at one point, and also me, myself, as a field engineer. And we also now have 2 interns, so it has a good amount of people, and counting up all the projects in Houston, has a good amount of workers in the project management field here in DPR.
Well, you to finish this interview, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the time. It's today, for people who don't know, it's a Friday evening, so I'm sure very anxious to go and relax. So thank you for taking the time. And now, tell us what kind of advice or recommendation you will give to the new architects or the new graduates in engineering or construction management to be successful in this industry. What would be your advice?
I would say go out there and get experience. I went to LSU. I knew a lot of students that really didn't try to pursue any internships or any type of experience because of fear of interviewing or whether being too lazy and want to enjoy college. I would say the most you'll ever learn is in internships and experience in the field. I promise you, I learned the most in my 2 internships than majority of my classes, actually being out there in the field and knowing how things is going up, just learning from the people in the industry. So to me, as the best advice that I'll give to someone who's up and coming in this industry is looking to gain experience. Whatever it is, whether it's residential, just gaining the experience you need to actually know how to build.